Thank you. Hey, good morning. Jim Sunderwirth here from my swing. So good to be with you today. Hey, we've been on quite a journey, and then we took a little break and talked about wisdom and talked about favor and humility and enjoying respect and respecting others, and we kind of wrapped that up yesterday. But today, um, I want to start a new journey. We talked about individuals. About Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and the Joseph story, which was phenomenal. But now we're going to be talking about another man, but yet we're going to be talking about a generation of people. God calls him his son, and it was really talking about Israel himself, and he calls him his son. And so the children of Israel, the whole aspect of how he developed them and how he protected them and all the things they did in their lives just tags right along with Genesis and then plugs right into Exodus, which means the going out or the departure, or how God delivers them from the place of Egypt. So anyway, what's astounding about this whole thing is that when you open up Exodus, there's about 400 years there. You just jump about 400 years, but there's a development time where God develops the children of Israel, and He has to do that. Why would God take 70 people of the family of Jacob and Joseph and all of them, bring them down to Egypt? I want to just start off with this. You see, God knew this for sure. He knew this for sure. If He had left those 70 people in Canaan, all the people of Canaan, the Philistines and all those different people, they were heathen people. They were heathen people. So, and they knew that they would begin to kind of get in together, and they would kind of start mixing together, and they wouldn't be set apart, because they would just be in the land, and you get close to somebody, you get used to somebody, and then all of a sudden you're marrying those people, and all of a sudden the culture gets mixed in together. Well, God knew that, so what He did was bring them down to Egypt. Now, why was it so important to bring them to Egypt? Well, the one thing for sure, the Egyptians were very prejudiced. I mean, they thought they were the cat's meow. They how they walked and talked, and they were very brilliant. So when Joseph brought his family down, he made sure. Remember, I think it's in chapter 46. He told them, "Be sure and tell them you're shepherds." And he said, "Oh, now why that?" He said, "Be sure and tell them you're shepherds." Now you got to get that in. Why? Because the Egyptians despised shepherds. They didn't want to be around them. They didn't want anything to do with them. They didn't want to have dinner with them. They didn't want to talk to them. So they sent them down to Goshen, about 900 square miles of fertile land, and said, "You take all your cows down there, and you take all your lifestyle down there, and you take your tents down there, and you do anything you want to. We don't want anything to do with you." So that's why God took them down there. He separated them out so that they would be pure, and that He could develop this nation that He called His son. And He developed those people, and it's a crazy thing to realize how God will go to any extent to separate us out, to get us out. Yes, we're supposed to be a light to the world and salt and all the stuff is, but yet he pulls us away and separates us into where He develops within us what He wants to do through us through different times, and sometimes you don't even understand. And it says in Exodus, when they got down there, they began to prosper and they began to multiply, and oh my goodness, they started to become a nation, a great nation. And in that very preparation of becoming a nation, a new Pharaoh, after generations and generations, they were down there for a long time, and the pharaohs would come and go. This one pharaoh came in, and he had no idea anything about Joseph, anything about Jacob, anything about the history, and he looked around. And have you ever been prospering and everything going quite well, and you're just kind of enjoying life and everything's good, and then all of a sudden someone or something comes into your life that just puts a halt to it? This Pharaoh, and this is what we're going to be talking about, and we're going to be talking about why a guy named Moses had to be brought on the scene and how God dealt with him and all this. Well, this Pharaoh got so scared so scared because this nation of Israel, these people he didn't really know much about, although he knew that they were prospering, and they were multitudes upon multitudes upon multitudes. They said when they came out of Egypt, there was 600,000 just fighting men. So they say it could have been about 2.5 million people. And he said, we're going to put a stop to this. We're going to make these people be our slaves, because if we don't control these people, what's going to happen is they could line up with other enemies and they can control us. So out of fear, he put these slave masters all through their camp and began to develop them as Egypt's slaves. And all of a sudden, the burden and persecution flipped from prosperity into pain and anger and frustration. And all of a sudden, they began to be used as slaves, and they built 2 cities. Well, that's what we're going to be talking about. How did God see this happening? What in the world did God do about it? That's what we're going to be talking about the next couple of days. So hang in there. We're going to, my time's over already. Can you believe it? So we'll go from here tomorrow, and we'll talk about a guy named Moses.